Wisconsin is the dream. Everyone is so generous. It's not an over-exaggeration. It's not a cliche. It is like a state of people who genuinely love where they live and want to welcome you with open arms.
Welcome to Food Stories Told. I'm Stephanie Gravalese, and in today's episode, we're kicking off the first part of a two-part series straight from the red carpet of the Top Chef Wisconsin premiere. Last month, I had a chance to go to the premiere in Milwaukee. It was an eye-opener. I was right there on the red carpet talking to people who make the show what it is, and I'm excited to share some of that with you today. In this episode, you'll be hearing from judges Gail, Simmons, Tom Colicchio, alongside competitors Kenny Nguyen and Michelle Wallace. They've got the inside scoop on what it was like to bring Wisconsin food to viewers everywhere. So why Wisconsin, and why does it matter to the rest of us? That's this season of Top Chef, sharing Wisconsin food culture. And we're going to get into some of that today. From those red carpet chats and the competition kitchen, there's plenty to talk about. I'm excited to share with you what they had to say on those quick red carpet moments. Join me as we revisit the red carpet, starting with head judge Tom Colicchio, as he shares some of the unique experiences and learning moments during the filming of this season.
So, coming to Wisconsin, any learnings for you? Just about Wisconsin food culture, anything that was a big surprise for you?
The fish boil.
Yes.
Because we had a demo done on the set. It was actually, the chefs were all there watching, and you look at what he does, and every bit of your training will tell you, don't cook like this, and yet it works. Yeah. And so look and try to figure out, like, why does cherish is going at the very end to boil the thing over? Yeah. Well, you realize you can't get close enough to skim to scud off the top of that, so you really get rid of it.
Right.
So looking at that, it doesn't make perfect sense. But at the time, it's like, oh God.
Now, was there a big, like, sort of flame situation? Because the fish boil I went to, I was like, I'm literally worried about my hair.
Oh yeah. I don't have to worry about it.
No, fair.
But so that was really cool to see, and it was really quite good.
Awesome. Yeah. So and with taking, Wisconsin food, all these, what do you think it needs for food culture to expose the country to Wisconsin? I think
there's great food everywhere.
Yeah.
Number one, you look at immigration patterns in this country, that's what kind of sets the food, right? And even in old immigration patterns and modern, today's immigration patterns, but there's always that. And typically, I don't just think this affects that from the Midwest. Actually, it's Wagyu. And then, so there's that, but then there's also, over the last, 40 years. And so you're seeing a lot of young chefs now that will go to New York, go to San Francisco, LA, wherever, and they come back home. And they come back home for a couple of reasons. One, maybe they want to have children and they want to be near family. Also, it's too expensive these days to open in cities, big cities. Yeah. So you come to smaller cities and open, you get better rents. Labor's the same, the food costs the same too. But it's the rents that are cheaper, and it's an easier lifestyle. And so that's what we've heard. There were a couple of chefs actually in Madison who worked for me.
Oh, great, yeah.
And they just they want to go back home. And so we're seeing a lot of that. And that's why there's great food everywhere. Because, we had one chef, Sarah Bradley, on our show, who trained in New York, had to go back to Paducah, Kentucky. And so that's why we're seeing the great food everywhere.
What would you say is like the one thing you learned about food culture in Wisconsin?
That it's a lot more than cheese. There's a lot of...
No, where? Yeah.
There's a lot of awesome, amazing chefs out here. And it's not just Chicago. Milwaukee's got a ton of up-and-coming and chefs that crank out awesome things, and I'm happy that I got to be here.
Absolutely. What would you say with Wisconsin food? What does that say about American food in general? Is there anything you learned about just food in America?
Just like a cultural melting pot everywhere you go, and some places have like a lot of like Polish cheese down here and stuff, but I mean, you go anywhere and you're going to find a different pocket for everything. Absolutely.
And what is restaurant you're with currently?
I own and operate Pretty Boy Athens, with a Vietnamese restaurant, opening up this.
I hear you grew up in St. Louis?
Yes.
Two questions I've been asking everybody is, when maybe a little closer to you because you're a little closer to Midwest, what did you take away from spending time in Wisconsin, from Wisconsin food in general? Were there any surprises for you, any sort of big takeaways?
Yeah, I mean, there were a few unique traditions with food that one that I never heard of, and then two I thought was cruelty experiment. And so, yeah, I mean, food always just surprises me, and it continues to wow me in a sense of is that you don't know really all of the things that we Americans were. And at the end of the day, we can all connect through that lane, right? Through that, to be able to come to this state to not hear some of the traditions you like, and then apply kind of what I do, to those traditions. I think it was a theater.
Absolutely. Yeah. And awesome. This season, what does it say about American food or American food culture?
What, being here in Milwaukee?
Let's talk about it, yeah. All over the West and gold, you know what I'm saying? Yeah.
And it speaks to American food and American culture. It just speaks to the diversity. I live in Houston, Texas, where we have an extremely vast array of cultures prevail. And I think that nationally, it is a great way to kind of experience all of us here who have been able to migrate here through history, currency, my people, black people, come from Africa, being shit, be able to tell that story, and then be able to apply that story. Like, locally in Milwaukee, it's insane. It really is insane, and I think it's a beautiful thing here.
Are you at a restaurant currently? Do you have your own spot?
Yeah, so I just started my own venture last year. So the show started. It's called Between Sandwich. So we do focus on smoked meat. I'm a pitmaster. I've been a pitmaster.
We got talk. All right.
A pitmaster and chef at Gather's Barbecue. Broke off, did my own thing. So we do a lot of smoked elements, sandwiches, a little bit more than just
word. Oh, I love it.
And we are at a bunch of Houston farmers markets.
I'm sure you probably don't remember, but I met you many years ago at like a new media conference when I was starting out as a food writer.
Oh, that's so awesome.
And I was started off as a newspaper reporter, and now I'm here. But it was really awesome, and I learned about you and your mom coming from the sea.
I love that.
Anyway, so awesome to be here and see you again. So let's talk Wisconsin food.
Yes.
So obviously Canada's home for you. You've been exposed to food all around. What was it like kind of learning about Wisconsin food for the first time?
It's great. It's not the first time.
Okay, good. Yep.
I've been to Core a few times.
Oh, sure.
For their food festival. And I've been to Madison on my book tour. But it was this dead of winter, so it was a Saturday, and I got to go to farmers market. But again, in like the middle of January, it's a very different experience than when we got to come back for Top Chef and go in the middle of August.
Absolutely.
And Wisconsin is the dream. Everyone is so generous. It's not an over-exaggeration. It's not a cliche. It is like a state of people who genuinely love where they live and want to welcome you with open arms. They make a strong cocktail. They make a mean steak. The cheese is outrageous. The frozen custard's even better. But there's also so much more nuance than like stereotypical food, right? Like we had amazing Laotian food. We had amazing Serbian food. We just got to do a lot of different things. We went to Brewers games. We went out to farms. We got to swim in the lake.
Absolutely.
We ran out on 3 different boats at different times.
Absolutely.
We had a blast here. We really took advantage of, I think, everything that Wisconsin really stands for, and that was a lot of fun.
So with Wisconsin food being on a national stage, what do you think that says about American food culture? And I mean, you've spoken to a lot of the elements of it, but
a lot of things. I think that it's having moments, and it's not just us. I think there's a lot of things going on here. I think, like many sort of smaller cities, a lot of the young cooks go out to the bigger cities. They get amazing training. They come into their own and they work open restaurants. And those few cities, New York, LA, Chicago, San Francisco, for example, are exorbitantly expensive whole places with enormous competition. And it's only natural that some of these great chefs want to come home, be closer to their families, and also bring home everything they've learned.
One point that really stood out to me in these conversations was this observation that Gail and Tom shared in the culinary world, which I almost wouldn't call a trend, but is something that people are noticing. Chefs, anyone in food really, going to the cities, training in these high-end establishments, and then choosing to return to their roots. This journey back home or to a place they feel connected to is not just a personal choice, but a statement. It is about bringing the skills, the tastes, the flavors, and the lessons, infusing them with the taste of place. And it is igniting a movement in places we might not expect. It's like Tom says, good food is everywhere. And I agree wholeheartedly. As an example, I've had people ask me, where's your favorite food city? And while I might have some opinions, which I will not be sharing today, I am excited about going to any city in the US because there really is good food everywhere. While that is very subjective, as someone like myself who makes it a point of understanding and deepening my knowledge of American food culture, put me in any city, any small town, and I will find a food story there. I will find somebody who's got an interesting way of seeing, experiencing, or making food. And to Tom's point, really, this homecoming, the continued homecoming, is part economical, part resource driven, and part of a way to build a sustainable life for yourself. This theme resonates deeply with the larger theme of this season, which is talking about food in the state of Wisconsin. It's a powerful reminder of the evolving nature of American food culture. It is a movement from the bustling streets of culinary hubs around the country and the world to the quiet corners of hometowns. Here, chefs and foodies around the country are planting their flags, ready to tell their stories through the dishes they serve. It's a testament to the power of coming home, armed with experiences and vision to carve out a space in the world around them. Gail and Tom's insights shed a light on this shift, highlighting the vibrant mosaic that is American cuisine, enriched by every chef who decides to take the journey back to where it all started. As we wrap up the first in this series from the Top Chef Wisconsin premiere, let's take these insights with us. Let's think about how the landscape of cooking and dining is ever evolving, with chefs and food makers becoming the storytellers of their own narrative, and how their regional influences, their ambitions, and celebrations of the places they call home come together. Stay tuned for part 2, where I'll be sharing even more from the red carpet. It's more than just food. It's about where it comes from and why it matters. So thanks for joining me on this episode of Food Stories Told. Don't forget to like, subscribe to catch all of the episodes as I continue to explore the stories around the flavors that move us. And when food talks, we listen.